Hi everyone, Izzy with Sustained Farms here. Today we're going to be talking about salt. So salt is one of those things that we pretty much eat every day. We don't always think about why we're eating it or what it does to our bodies. So salt is necessary because it controls the level of water in our bodies, and because we're a majority of water, that's really important. It also helps control nerve and muscle function, which is necessary for us to kind of move and get around. However, a majority of Americans' diets are too high in sodium or in salt, and that can cause high blood pressure. And so what we're going to do today is kind of show what salt does to our bodies. Because salt controls water, we're going to be able to do an experiment with one little container of clean, like regular water, and one container of salt water. So first we're going to mix some salt in. So just a good amount. You want to make sure that it's dissolving completely, but that it's not entirely opaque. That looks pretty good. Next I'm going to label these so I remember which one is which. And I'm just going to use a Post-it note for that. So we know which ones are salty water, even though we can kind of tell. So next I have the same potato. So potatoes have a really high water content. So we're going to be able to observe what the salt does to organisms, such as a potato or a human, that have a high water content. So you're going to put these cut side down in the water, and we're going to let them sit for about 30 minutes and come back and see what happens. Okay, so I actually ended up letting these sit for about 24 hours. So let's take a look at what they've done. So here's our non-salted one, and make some observations about it. Like, see, does it float? Does it bounce? And then take it out, kind of feel it. What does it feel like? Is it pretty similar to what it was like before? Or has it changed? And then we'll do the same thing with our salt one. So a little bit of bouncing, not quite as much as our regular water one. And then when I'm feeling it, this part right here, the part that was exposed to the water, is a lot squishier. And that's because we have some osmosis going on. And so osmosis is the process of essentially balancing things out. So areas of high salt and a high water content kind of mix together to become balanced. And that happens in this little system that we have right here, as well as in our own bodies. So you can feel that squishiness of the water leaving the potato and coming into the container to kind of balance that out and make it more neutral. Whereas this one, because there was no salt in here, we don't have that same effect. This same thing is happening inside our bodies when we eat a lot of salt. So thinking about foods with high salt content, things like breads and cereals, snack foods, a lot of processed foods are gonna have a high salt content. And when you look for that on the nutrition label, it's actually gonna be sodium, and they're gonna measure that in milligrams. And what we wanna aim for is snacks that have about less than 120 milligrams of sodium, or a diet that is less than 2,000 milligrams of sodium per day. In the average adult American actually eats about a diet with about 3,000 milligrams of sodium. So that high sodium content in their food creates this system right here where part of the liquid or the water from your muscles, your surrounding tissue, the tissue that surrounds the digestive system, gets leached out into your salty diet to kind of balance that out, which causes things like muscle fatigue, hurts your nervous system, and also causes high blood pressure. So we want to kind of limit the amount of sodium we're thinking about. So when you go for a snack, check your nutrition and then think about if you could eat a vegetable or fruit instead, because those tend to have lower sodium content. Okay, enjoy.